Hello everyone, I hope you're having a fantastic day so far. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Strompfel and I am the coach of the Chelsealeo FC in this season of the GPC, who's currently sitting at a 2-0 record with a +5 differential. And in week 3, we're going up against my main man, Isac, one of my front office guys who I always team build with and I always just mock with, and I mock him, so we have constant contact in the GPC. So it will be pretty lonely to just team build by myself this week. But you know, it is what it is. Isac is having a pretty okay start of the season. He has a record of 1-1 after a pretty dominating victory in week 1, and then he got absolutely walled by a Quackstar week 2, which was pretty heartbreaking to see. But apart from that, I don't really have a front office to shout out because I'm facing my front office, so we'll just jump straight into the matchup. So looking at the matchup versus the team that my man Isac has constructed, you can see that his team is so threatening from an offensive side of view. He got threats like Megalopony, Latias, Thunderers and Mamoswine, and that combination is just disgusting to try and find Wolves for. He also had some defensive threats, mainly being his mascot pick Empoleon. Latias can even be an offensive threat, and you have Superior, which is very hard to wall, especially when it boosts up. He also has Spiritomb, but I don't really see that coming. Rapidash, which he has fallen in love with for some unknown reason, but I guess that could come. And then we have the Zangus. Now, there's two really awkward factors when it comes to team building versus Isac. The first one being that he has two modes. He either goes super tryhard in team building and creates a really solid team and puts a lot of time into team building just because he really wants to win, and in this case he would really like to win against just me. Isac is probably my best Pokemon related friend, so him creating a super competitive and super tryhard team would not surprise me at all. Or he can go on the other route and just run what he calls balls to the wall, which indicates that he will run Life Orb and Choice Band everything and just come up with some wacky ass teams, which will not work in all scenarios. But the thing is, I can't really say for a fact whether he will choose one of the two. And the thing is, if he chooses the super tryhard route, there is the awkward factor that he knows exactly how I like to prep and play, and I know exactly how he likes to prep and play, which creates a ultimate mind game when it comes to team building. But that's enough talk about Isac as a player and team builder. Let's actually look at the Pokemon that he can bring. Now, as I said before, there are some mons that I am more scared of than others, such as the Mamoswine, the Lopunny and the Thunderers. Those are the most threatening against my squad, in my opinion at least. Because, you know, these guys just wall break for each other so well, and finding, defensive checks for them is really hard, especially on my roster. My best defensive check is Vaporeon from Mamoswine and the Megalopony, but you know that can't take hits from Thunders, and I do have the Amoonguss to take hits from Thunders and Megalopony, but that just doesn't check the Mamoswine at all. So having defensive checks might not be the best way to go in this matchup. I might just want to focus more of my offense. Because as you can see on his draft, he doesn't have the best defensive checks, mainly being the Empoleon and potentially the defensive Superior, which is his main 1000 arrow switch-in. He can also run a defensive Latias or a defensive Gardevoir, but I mainly see the Empoleon and Superior being defensive checks in this game. We can also see a slight fighting weakness in his draft. Even though he has 3 resist and an immunity, I do still think I can utilize my Cobalion pretty well in this matchup if I have some sort of speed boosting either item or move. And the last thing I want to mention before we go into the actual team is the fact that I do have some other threats against his team, which he will have a hard time to preparing for. Mainly Mega Diancie, because his main response to Mega Diancie is the Empoleon, and since that is both his potentially Stealth Rock and his Defogger as well, Empoleon will easily be chipped down because he doesn't have reliable recovery, and at some point Mega Diancie will just be able to click moves. I also do have his Zygarde, which will just be amazing in case I can get rid of that defensive Superior, and of course Sneasel outspeeds everything on his team except for Megalopony, and does have some pretty good general stab against his team, so I definitely want to try and utilize that. But that is about it. Let's jump into the team that we're bringing to pick up a third W in the GPC. So kicking off the squad this week is going to be my Cobalion, and this is going to be a choice card set this week, because I think I forgot to mention it in the matchup, but having a speed advantage against Isac's team is going to be super key. And I also mentioned in the matchup, just scroll back and watch it, that he does have a slight weakness to fighting, and I want to utilize that to the fullest extent and just click choice card close combat all day and every single day. I could have run something like a rock polish, but I felt like the choice scarf was more safe because I don't have to waste a turn to set up my speed. I can just come in and just be faster automatically. I do have the close combat, the iron, the stone edge, and the stealth rock, and this is going to actually be my stealth rocker of the week. Close combat is just going to be spammable. I can iron edge all of his fighting resist pretty hard. Stone edge is to revenge kill a potentially nasty plot Thunders in case that gets an opportunity to set up on my team, which I don't think he will be able to, but just in case. And I do have stealth rocks, which I will click if I just feel like it. I don't think I will clicking it in this battle, but just having the option is good enough. Next up, we got ourselves the second Pokemon that he has a hard time switching into, and that is my Zygarde 50%. And I've decided to run a Dragonium Z Outrage set this week. And that is because if I Dragon Dance up, I will just be able to nuke something with my Z Outrage, which is mainly the plan to deal with the Superior. If Superior comes in, I can Dragon Dance and just smack that shit with the Devastating Drake and just KO like 4 Superiors if he is offensive, maybe like 1.5 if he's defensive. But main thing is I want to get rid of the Superior so I can click the other spammable move, which is my 1000 Arrows. 1000 Arrows will just be able to smack everything as long as Superior is gone, and I do have the nice extreme speed in the back just if I want to pick up a KO against one of his offensive threats, let's say a Nasty Plot Thunders. As you might can tell, I am really scared of Nasty Plot Thunders, so I do have a bunch of things to deal with it. If I click Z Dragon Dance in the battle, I will cry. So yeah, let's move on to the next Pokemon. Next up, we got ourselves my Mega Diancie, which is going to be WinCon number 2, and this Diancie is Rocking the Polish. Rocking the Polish, what the fuck? Rocking the Rock Polish, Rocking the Rock Polish. Diancie Rocking the Rock Polish. That's a mouthful to say. Mega Diancie will be my second WinCon of the game, with the ability to boost its speed and then just smack everything hard with the 2 coverage moves of Moonblast and Earth Power. I do have the substitute just in case I predict him to switch out to sack something. Maybe he has a weakened Pokemon in the back. I can just sub up when the Pokemon comes in, either Rock Polish or kill it, and then I'll be just looking good. The coverage of Moonblast and Earth Power hits his entire team super hard. I don't really need to have a Rock Stab this game. Now we're getting into my way of dealing with Thunders 100%, which is going to be Ice Shard from my Sneasel. And as you can see, I am rocking the low kick knockoff and Icicle Crash as well. And since he does have priority with the Thunder Wave potentially, I can just block that because of my Dark typing, so he can't Thunder Wave me, and I can just Icicle Crash that into the next dimension. In case I reveal his Scarf for some reason, if he outspeeds my Cobalion, or if he is agilityed up, I can always Ice Shard it and take it out. Knockoff is very crucial, especially with a black glasses, to potentially remove the leftovers from the most likely Empoleon coming in. And I do also have the knockoff for, I do have the low kick, as I was supposed to say. I do have the low kick for the Empoleon and for the Mamoswine, which has a good chance of KOing after the knockoff damage, which means that Sneasel is basically going to claim someone when it comes in. Unfortunately, I couldn't fit Pursuit on the set, so Pursuit trapping Latias cannot happen in this game, even though it would have been really, really nice. Now, even though I mentioned in the beginning that I wanted to be super aggressive and offensive this week, there wouldn't really be a strong team without some sort of defensive backbone in the back, and leading that defensive backbone off will be Feronia the Vaporeon. Absolutely outstanding performance last week, just chewing all of the hits, even some hits that I did not expect it to take. I do have the Wish, Protect, Ice Beam, and Scald. Pretty self-explanatory. Wish Protect just to heal myself or a team member up. Ice Beam to prevent some sort of setup, or maybe the Latias or the Thunders. I could have Roar, but I don't think I will be having Stealth Locks this game, so might as well just have Ice Beam for the damage, and then just Scald just for general stab, and maybe to get a burn. Leftovers is of course really nice just to keep my Vaporeon healthy. Vaporeon is mainly here just to check the Megalopony and the Mamoswine. If I can do that, then Vaporeon's job is basically done. And then wrapping up the squad this week is going to be my second member of the defensive core, which is Spedef Amungus, which did an outstanding job in week 1, and I expect no less from it this week. I'm rocking the Espurrs, Sludge Bomb, Giga Drain and Toxic, and with the Papaya Berry actually. I'll get into the Papaya Berry in a bit. We are having the Spore just to put something to bed, Sludge Bomb and Giga Drain just 2 really good stab options, maybe I can just regain some health or get a poison, and then I do have the Toxic, because I do expect some sort of safety goggles Latias to come in on me, so I can just get a Toxic on that and start wearing it down, which will be really solid. And now the Papaya Berry, that is mainly for Nasty Plot Thunders to not just plow through me. Just, Nasty Plot Thunders is, as I said, a ginormous threat, and with this Papaya Berry, there's like no way a +2 Thunders can OHKO me from full, because the GPC is actually not a one-shot with the Papaya Berry, which is awesome, so I can put that thing to bed, and then switch into one of my faster mons to clean it up, such as the Sneasel or the Cobalion. But that's gonna be the team for the week. Let's just jump right into the battle versus my man Isac. So, looking at the matchup versus the Grande Empoleons, we have pretty much what I have expected him to bring, which is some sort of fast offensive Lopunny, we do have a Breaker Mamoswine, and some sort of defensive Superior, perhaps a stealth rocking Empoleon, either support or Scarf Latias, and then last but not least we do not see a Thunders, and instead we see a Gardevoir. So if you did decide to skip the team builder for whatever reason, I'll just give you a quick rundown of the team, and that is to either win with Rock Polish Mega Diancie or a Dragon Dancing Zygarde. We do also have the Cobalion with a Choice Scarf just to claim some kills if a mon is potentially weakened, or I can just click Close Combat in the end and kill everything. We do also have a Wall Core consisting of Physical Defensive Vaporeon and Special Defensive Amungus, and then the glue will be Sneasel, just coming in and knocking everything off. So, before we go into the actual match, I'll just give you a quick background story on what happened when we tried to battle. If you didn't know, me and Isac are pretty good pals, we're going to the same school, we're taking the same classes, and yeah, we're just hanging out all the time. And we actually decided to play this match on a lunch break in the school library, and unfortunately Isac had to watch a very important League of Legends stream while he was trying to battle. I'll just put a picture of that on the screen. And this was the start of a battle which resulted in both of us just laughing at the end. So yeah, without further ado, let's just jump into the battle. I decided to lead off straight with Cobalion in case he wants to lead off with the Mega Lopunny, but he leads off with the Gardevoir. I just want to pause it real quickly. Marie Jakobsson is actually the name of a teacher we had the first year. And yeah, we don't like her, and I don't know why Isac decided to name his Gardevoir Marie Jakobsson, but he did. So this first turn, I do have the option of just firing off an Iron Head, and that's actually what I want to do, because unless he's max HP, max defense, bold, and even then, there's a big chance he gets KO'd. There's like no reason for him to survive this. So I'll just take my chances and I'll just go straight up for the Iron Head. And as you can see, my man is just max HP, max defense, bold Gardevoir, and he takes that rather comfortably. And he goes for the Will-O-Wisp. So one of my main win cons is already crippled turn 1. But the funny thing is that Isac looks up from his phone and says, "Wait, are you scarfed too?" Yes. Isac is running max HP, max defense, bold Gardevoir with a Choice Scarf, and it actually turned out after the battle that he didn't even have Trick. It was just an annoying Gardevoir with a Choice Scarf. I don't understand why. And this was pretty much the beginning of me realizing that Isac has done some unholy team building which I will not be able to predict. So at this point I'm just going to play really safe. But because he's Choice Scarf locked into the Will-O-Wisp, I'll just switch out into my Amungus, because, you know, I can take every single Will-O-Wisp in the game, as he switches into his... What did he switch into? It was a while back ago. And he switched into his Latias named LMAO You Gay. He goes to Draco Meteor and actually misses my Amungus, which wouldn't have done too much, but it is, like, annoying to have to deal with hacks already this early. I'm just gonna put this guy to bed, which is just amazing for me, and I'm just gonna go hard out into my Sneasel, because I do have the potential to pursue trap him. So he takes the mandatory turn of sleep, and I'll just go straight up for the knockoff, because I do have a really good chance of 2 KOing the Empoleon coming in with a knockoff into a low kick. And I'll just pause again because the nickname, I'm probably going to get like 100 questions about those. The nickname on the Empoleon, Jag har AIDS, is translated to English is I have AIDS. Yeah, don't question the nicknames at this point. I'm just gonna go for the low kick. Unfortunately, I do not get to roll in the Empoleon, as he goes for an Ice Beam trying to power predict my Amoonguss coming in. At least I'm thinking that what he was predicting. I'm just gonna go for knockoff again, and I'm already up 5-6, with my little Sneasel claiming his first victim. So in comes Marie Jakobsson again, the Mega Lopunny, and I'm just gonna go straight out into my physical check, which is my Vaporeon, as he's just gonna Mega Evolve and go for the Baton Pass, which is a really good play, not really allowing me to check if this is an Adamant or a Jolly Lopunny, which will come into play later on. So he just goes into Martin 2. I'm not going to say the last name. I was so close to saying the last name, but you actually can look his real name up, which I do not want to. So Martin Blank is a guy who's going to our class, and Isac thinks he's a snake because he always takes someone's work and claims that it's his own. So he decided to name his superior Martin, which is pretty funny to me. So I'm just gonna switch out. I'm kind of shook at this point. I'm just laughing at Isac's nicknames, so I'm not really thinking. He just goes for Leaf Storm. I can tell by that damage that he's like not invested at all. So I'm not thinking that he's gonna stay in, so I'm just gonna click Giga Drain. He reveals a substitute, which is a good bring on his part, and I am still not worried about this at all because I do have the Sludge Bomb to break the sub easily. We do see the leftovers on the superior as well, which is not a surprise at all. So here he gets me really, really good because he goes straight into his Mamoswine, Marie Sten, which is Marie Rock on Swedish. And as I go for the Sludge Bomb trying to break the sub, and now I'm really just sitting in the shit because I need to sack something. I do not have a ground resist on my squad. So since my Cobalion is super burned, I'm just going to go straight into that and wave goodbye, because that goes straight down. The important thing here is to notice that I do not see a life orbit, so this could easily be something like an Icicle Plate or a Ground Plate. I'm just gonna go into my Vaporeon and fire off a Baton Pass, but my man fires off the Earthquake and it does 67% to my Vaporeon. So he's running the Adamant Choice Band Mamoswine, which I did not expect at all. I thought that he was going to go right back into Superiors, which is why I fire off a Baton Pass, but he just reveals the Choice Band Adamant Earthquake. And I asked him why he was bringing Choice Band Adamant Earthquake, and he just said, well, you know, I want to bring it because it's funny. And then he made a pretty graphic description on how much a Choice Band Adamant Mamoswine will fuck my team. I can never unhear that sentence. And I will not say it out loud, because now I'm just really in a bad position because my physical wall is really weakened. I need to deal with this Mamoswine straight away, so I'm just going straight into my Zygarde, and I'm clicking the Devastating Drain to OHKO the Mamoswine. So at least that threat is gone, but Lopunny is just looking all of a sudden much more scarier than it was before. Out comes Marie Jakobsson number 1, and I'm just gonna click Extreme Speed. I don't know why Isac switched this in. I think he was watching like a pivotal turn in the LoL tournament, so I don't think he kind of knew what he was doing. So he switches in right into the Lopunny gets crit, which is annoying, but it really doesn't matter in the long run. He goes into the Latias, predicting me to switch out into my Vaporeon, which is a good play because, you know, he can potentially burn some turns of sleep and wake up at some point. I'm just gonna go for the Baton Pass again because, you know, he is faster than me, so I can just go out into my Sneasel and Pursuit Trap him. He actually wakes up and goes for Psychic, so, you know, good for him. I'm not really that upset. Because, you know, it's Pokemon. We are just filled with RNG. No, I actually go straight into my Dansey. I forgot about that, because this is the time I do have to set up my Rock Polish. The worst thing he can do to me is hit me with a Surf, which wouldn't even do that much damage. So I go into my Mega Dansey, I just set up a Rock Polish straight away. Because I know he's not invested in special attack, this Leaf Storm will actually not kill me, and as long as I don't boost his special attack by Moonblast dropping him, I should be good. As you can see, I do not do that. He just goes for Leaf Storm, does not take me out. Mega Dansey is actually more bulky than you think, and I can just 2-hit KO him with a Moonblast. And all of a sudden, this game is looking super bright for me. I don't really see how I can lose this at this point. He's just gonna sack off the Superior. There's really nothing he can do with it anymore, and he's gonna go straight into Marie Jakobsson number 2, try to go for the quick attack. That's gonna do like -5%, and I can just kill this thing off with a Moonblast 2. If it was Fake Out plus Quick Attack, that might have been something to save him, but right now, everything is just dropping to my Mega Diancie. So at this point, as you can see, I'm looking for it's looking like a 5-0 victory for me, but we both decide that it would be better if I won with a bit less differential, because, you know, Isac will lose so much momentum, because, you know, he lost last week, and losing 5 differential points this week would be just devastating, and I really want to face him off in the finals, because, you know, he's bragging to me that he will beat me in finals, and if I win 5-0, he's losing a lot of momentum, which will maybe come back to bite him in the end if it comes down to differential. So we decide that he will get this turn to kill off my Diancie, and then I'll just switch into my Vaporeon, he will kill that off too, and then a 3-0 victory is much more easy to come back from. So that's actually what's happened. I click Rock Polish again, but Isac decides to be a dick and click the Thunder Wave. And he just did that to piss me off, at least that's what I'm thinking, because he's Choice Scarf, he can't do anything. So I just break the agreement right here, just killing off with a Moonblast. And last but not least, there is a Latias, and Latias can't really do anything to my Sneasel and the other guys that I do have on my team, so it's looking really well for me. But unfortunately, I do get paralyzed, so Latias actually kills me off with a Psychic. After this turn, I'm just going to go straight into my Sneasel, but then Isac realizes that the differential might matter, so I just switch out again into my Vaporeon. Latias claims its second kill of the battle, and I'm just going to go into my Zygarde to pick up the final kill of the battle, which is going to be awesome. A 3-0 victory is really, really good for us. At least now that we are 3-0. But Zygarde comes in, and this is actually really funny. So he goes for the Ice Beam, revealing to me that he was prepared for my Zygarde. I'll go for the Outrage, and the only reason that he would survive is if he's max defense, max HP bold, which it turns out that he is, so no 3-0 victory for us. He's just gonna kill me off with another Ice Beam, and yeah. What went from a 5-0, pretty comfortable Mega Diancie sweep, turned out to be a 2-0 victory where my Sneasel comes in really clutch and can just kill him off with a knockoff. If Sneasel actually would have gone down for some reason, I think I actually would have lost this game. But we do pick up a 2-0 victory versus Isac and his ever Grande Empoleons, which is awesome. We're looking really, really nice with 3-0 at this point. Next week, we're facing off against my man Nico, which will be a lot of fun. But yeah, I think that will be all for this time. Thanks so much for watching. I'm sorry that this video will go up a little bit late. I am actually recording this Monday, but you know, I'll do my best to pump this out. But I'll see you all next week. Thank you so much for watching. Have a good night.